Dear friends, I'm musician Nárek Hachnazaryan. And first of all, I want to apologize to all my subscribers on social media, in Facebook, in Instagram, etc., for not posting musical videos lately. I'm very proud and happy and blessed to be a musician and to do what I truly love all my life. But more importantly, I am a human being. And the most important for me is that I am Armenian, and I'm very proud Armenian. And as an Armenian, I cannot stay neutral or ignore what's happening in my homeland with my people in Armenia these days and in Artsakh, the territory populated by ethnical Armenians who has been living there for thousands of years. Azerbaijan and Azerbaijani leader Ilham Aliyev, with support of Turkey and Turkish leader Erdogan, violently attack Artsakh and Armenians living in Artsakh, and they use all the most immoral methods to attack that region. They use bombing, they shell the civilian cities, and there is no moral principles for them in this war. Not only that, Azerbaijan hired ISIS terrorists, thousands of ISIS terrorists, to fight for Azerbaijan against Christian Armenians in Artsakh. It's a fact proven by intelligence agencies of the most powerful countries, including USA, Russia, France. It's a fact proven by most famous media outlets. But yet, Aliyev and Erdogan deny it. Not only that, they have no mercy to civilians and to soldiers captured. There is countless videos in internet how they execute civilian prisoners, civilian Armenian prisoners. And this is all happening now in the 21st century. I want to address my speech to several groups of people and countries, but I will start from individuals. First of all, I want to thank all non-Armenians, artists, and famous people worldwide for speaking up and standing beside Armenia and Artsakh and speaking for peace and recognition of Artsakh's independence. I'm talking about Sir Elton John, Yevgeny Kissin, Daniil Trifonov, and many, many others. Thank you. I had many requests to comment posts in social media by some Azerbaijani artists, people like Emin Agalarov, opera singer Yusif Eyvazov, and others. Those people who stand by President Ilham Aliyev, who are proud of that person. I want to remind you who is your president and in which country you are living in and you are coming from, and what Ilham Aliyev did with that country. Ilham Aliyev's Azerbaijan teaches their children in kindergarten that Armenians are enemies and Armenians should be killed. There is many videos you can find in internet where a kindergarten teacher teaches that hatred to the kids, to little children. Azerbaijan is a country which pardoned and greeted as a hero a murderer, Ramil Safarov. In 2004, Safarov was in a NATO training camp in Hungary. And Safarov snuck into a room of Armenian soldier and he axed him to death while Armenian was asleep. After serving some time in prison and after receiving a lifetime sentence in Hungary, Safarov was extradited to Azerbaijan. Upon arrival, Safarov was greeted by President Ilham Aliyev and by Azerbaijani community, and he was greeted as a hero. Not only that, Safarov was given by Aliyev an apartment, 8 years payback, and also he was promoted to a higher rank, higher military rank. So, I want to ask those Azerbaijani artists who are supporting the evil, corrupt dictator Aliyev. There are two options. Either you are living on a different planet and are completely unaware of all the crimes which Aliyev has committed, or the second option, you are serving and being slaves of a dictator. Now, I want you to realize one simple thing. Art is given to us and is given to artists to serve a good cause, to serve the peace and the beauty. It's not given to us to serve the dictators. I want to address my words now to all my countless Israeli friends and Jewish friends around the world and in Israel. State of Israel is the biggest supplier of Azerbaijan, the biggest military supplier. Israeli weapons and Israeli drones are bombing Armenian soldiers and bombing Armenian civilians. They are bombing, Azerbaijan is using Israeli drones to shell and to bomb civilian objects in Artsakh. Many Armenian civilians died in Artsakh because of Israeli military equipment. Just think about it for a second. Jewish country supports Islamic country which hired ISIS terrorists to fight against one of the oldest Christian nations and the very first Christian country in the world, Armenia. This, for me, I cannot understand how this can happen. This is really, I do realize that Azerbaijan has oil and Azerbaijan can buy pretty much everything they want. But come on, what about moral principles? What about dignity? So please, I'm talking to my Jewish friends. If you really care about the future of this world, and if you really care about how your country will remain in a history, please speak up and do everything possible, everything in your power to change the course of your country's government, to stop your country from supplying dictators and terrorists. I want to address now to citizens of the United States of America, to my many American friends, and to the country which I love, which I have lived in, studied there, to the country which I enjoy playing in and coming regularly. America and the government of the United States of America is the most powerful government and most powerful country in the world. And it is in US power to stop the violence and to stop the terrorism which is happening right now in Artsakh. But Donald Trump and the government of the United States pretend that there is nothing happening in that part of the world. For one simple reason, because Turkey is a NATO member and it's a US ally. And since Turkey is openly supporting Azerbaijan, then US doesn't want to speak up against its ally and to stop this terrorism. But I want to point out one thing one more time. We are now talking about not allies, not enemies. Although I'm not a very religious person, but it's clearly a religious war right now, because two powerful Islamic states are trying to finish what Ottoman Empire started in 1915. They are trying to finish Armenian genocide. And it is right now, this is a decisive moment in history, whether Christian countries will value the history and the religion higher than financial and geopolitical interests, and will help the oldest Christian nation in history, to Armenia, to survive and to fight against terrorists. Again, we Christians were fighting not just against Muslim, Islamic, Azerbaijan and Turkey. We are fighting about ISIS, against ISIS terrorists, and we are fighting alone. Why US bombs ISIS terrorists in Libya, in Syria, in Iraq, and yet they pretend that there is no terrorists in Artsakh, in Azerbaijan, fighting against Artsakh. Although US intelligence agency has a proof of that fact, that there are terrorists fighting against Armenians. So, dear American friends, America is a democratic country, and I believe that the decisions of the government and the policy of the government should reflect the opinion of its citizens. So it's in your power to speak up and stand for the highest moral principles and to protect civilians who are being killed and who are being forced to run from their homes, where they've been living and their ancestors has been living for thousands of years. So please, US, don't be neutral, don't ignore this issue, and do something. I want to address now to European Union, to all people and citizens of the countries which are members of European Union. Look, again, Christians are being killed by Islamic terrorists, and they are being killed very, very close to Europe's borders. We Armenians are now the last stand between the terrorists and the Caucasus, then Russia, and then Europe. And we are fighting and we're standing against those terrorists alone. I think this is unacceptable. There's many parliaments these days which condemn the Turkish and Azerbaijani aggression, and I'm very thankful to that. But we need more than that. We need military support. We need sanctions against Azerbaijan and Turkey to limit their financial possibilities, to limit their supplies, for them to finally stop bombing our civilians and to finally stop bombing and attacking our people, our soldiers, and our land. And we need European Union to recognize independence of Artsakh Republic, to recognize the right of ethnic Armenians living in Artsakh to choose their future themselves, and for it to not be chosen by an enemy dictator. Because we all clearly understand what will happen if hypothetically, it's never going to happen, but let's pretend it might happen. If Artsakh will become part of Azerbaijan, 300,000 Armenians will be forced to leave their homes, and many of them will be killed, because there is cases like that in history. It's a 1988 Sumgait and Baku massacre. You can Google it and check for yourself what Azerbaijanians did with Armenians, with their friends, their neighbors. They were just slaughtering them and they were burning their bodies on the streets. So please, European Union and all members of European Union, please start acting and doing something which actually will make an impact to this war. Because this war is a decisive war right now for the future course of the history of the world. And last but not least, I want to address my words to our brother nation, our good neighbors, to Georgia, which is now showing one of the most immoral betrayals in the history of both our countries. They block the military and humanitarian supplies which can go through Georgia to Armenia. I just want to remind you, my friends in Georgia and outside of Georgia, that no matter how many Turkish investments your country has, we are only 2 Christian countries remaining in that region. And one of those countries is being attacked now by a much more powerful force. If you think that this war will go past Georgia, I strongly recommend you reconsider, because if Armenia falls, Georgia will be next. So please, my Georgian friends, my brothers, make a pressure on your government and insist on standing by Armenia and standing by Armenian people in Artsakh. This is not a war about territory. This is a war about people. We are standing in front of, on the edge of humanitarian big crisis. And this is not a war about whose territory is Artsakh, whose territory has been 40 years ago, where it's been 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. No, it's not about that. It's not about land. It's about people. There's 300,000 people who were born and raised in Artsakh and who will die in Artsakh, no matter what. And we are talking about those 300,000 people. We are talking about their life. We are talking about their right to choose their future and their right to just have a peaceful and happy life. So please reconsider your government's policy. In the end, I want to ask all of you who watch this video to not stay silent, to share this video, to share all possible material about Artsakh and Armenia and history of Artsakh, history of Armenia, and to support our cause, our noble cause of defending our people from terrorists. And in addition to media and moral support which you can provide us, we also need financial support, because Azerbaijan and Turkey are tens of times wealthier than Armenia, and their military budgets are many, many times bigger than Armenia's. So we need supplies, we need weapons to protect our people and to fight against terrorists. Please consider donating any amount which fits you to Armenian fund. The link you will find under this video. It's himnadram.org, and every cent you donate it will go towards protecting civilians and protecting people's right to choose their future and their right for bright and prosperous life and future. Thank you.